Many people will tell you that the economy is doing quite well. Great, actually. And in some metrics, it really is. But what if I told you it's actually doing bad and it might be getting worse? That there's something, some evil lurking right under the surface that we know of that's in our face but is hiding in plain sight. Many people will say, especially leaders right now, will say that the US economy is doing well. And many are curious why many people don't think so. There is something wrong. There's something wrong. What is that? Many people are going to tell you that it's inflation. And I think that's the case as well. Things are more expensive than they used to be. And that's only going to keep happening after the pandemic. Prices went up. We know that. A lot of people are saying that it's supply chain. The supply chain isn't that big of an issue anymore. But one thing is, okay? And it's so bad that they've created a new word for it. They call it greedflation. Greedflation and corporate profiteering has significantly boosted global prices, this study shown. Crazy, I know, right? Corporations are trying to take your money at unprecedented rates. As they're bringing in money in unprecedented rates, they're firing people and laying them off at unprecedented rates. They're trying to tell you to tighten. You should tighten your belts at unprecedented rates, and they're trying to get more money out of you in unprecedented rates. It's called greedflation. But something even worse is brewing under the surface, something that many companies are only now starting to dabble in. I would like to talk to you about it now so you can understand it before it gets even worse. So what is that? What it is a little thing called price surging. It'll go by many other names, but we'll call it price surging for now, okay? Or surge pricing. So this is something that kind of popped up into the news a couple of weeks ago when it came about that Wendy's was thinking about implementing surge pricing, okay? The CEO was talking and the CEO was having a earnings call and he said this: as early as 2025, we plan to test a number of features such as AI-enabled menu changes and suggestive selling based on factors such as weather, and that we think will provide great value and improved customer and crew experience, said one of the spokesmen. They also went on to say, we said that these menu boards would give us more flexibility to change display and featured items, okay? So basically what they were doing is they wanted to use AI to be able to change prices depending on what was going on and suggest different things from their menu to different people depending on a bunch of different factors, and then digitize their whole menu so they can change it in a blink. So in 1 second, it's one thing, and the next second, it's another thing, and they can easily get that done to quicken up decision making, basically, okay? So one of the things that they wanted to do and change was changing the prices for certain things using a form of generative AI, okay? So they wanted to put Siri basically in every single Wendy's menu to get you to buy stuff like loot boxes. They wanted to do Baconator loot boxes, basically. Okay, that was the plan. It went horribly. Everybody was clowning on them. Literally, everybody was clowning on them when the CEO talked about dynamic pricing and surge pricing. Okay, because everybody was like, "Holy crap!" So you're telling me that things are going to get expensive at different parts of the day. And I would like to explain surge pricing a little bit to you all, for some people who don't know. This has been something that's been around in a lot of different industries before, and you've seen it and you've dealt with it before. Basically, from airlines, for instance, regularly raise prices and lower them depending on the time of the year, expected customer surges, and projections for how many seats they can fill on various times. So what this is basically what Wendy's was thinking about doing was that, let's say around 12, all right, when a lot of people have their lunch breaks, changing the prices for burgers and stuff. And maybe when people get off of work, like around 4 or 5, let's say, changing around the prices for stuff again. And then like maybe later in the day, maybe changing the prices again. Now, They came out to say that, hey, listen, we were only thinking about lowering the prices. We just wanted to make the prices lower sometimes, not like more expensive. But if you lower the prices at sometimes, other points in time in the day, it's going to be more expensive. Okay. So that's the way how they want to say, that's the way how they want to explain it, as dynamic pricing to people. The prices change all the time, depending on the time of the day and what's going on. And you've experienced it before. Flights on Sundays and Fridays, for instance, are usually going to cost more, because when they think you might want it, they're going to increase the prices. And when you think you might not want it, they decrease the prices for the mere fact of they think people might want it more. So that's why it just becomes more expensive. Okay. Hotels have done this before. You've seen it before. And that's why a lot of people want to make their reservations for things like planes and hotels and travel way in advance, and trying to move it to other parts of the year, specifically because things are going to get really expensive. And this is the same thing when it comes to tickets and concerts and parking garages. They'll change prices depending on the part of the day and when people might use it more, simply because they might use it more. And utilities as well, they can just make it more expensive because they think a lot of people are going to be using electric or water recently, and they think that it might threaten blackouts possibly. So let's just charge you more for it, okay? So the way that they explain it is that, the way that they want to explain it is that, let's make it so that the people who really want it can get it. All right. That's the play that they're making. And this is something that a lot of companies have been looking at. Okay. This is really like the NFTs and AI, and that like NFTs and crypto back in the day. Okay. Remember how every company was like, ooh, we gotta get a slice of this crypto shit. We gotta make NFT Big Macs. That's the next play. And it completely crashed. Okay. That one was a little funny. It was a little silly, but this one is just like that, but more dangerous, because now they may want to do stuff like tracking when you typically get off of work, and then just making things more expensive. So if you think fries at McDonald's now, like a medium fry now costs like $4, maybe when you get off of work, and now it's going to cost $5 or $6, because you get off of work when a lot of people typically get off of work, and they're just going to increase the prices then, specifically just because they know that you might be hungry. That's the plan for a lot of this. Okay. And this didn't start with these restaurants. It started, obviously, like we said, with these other industries and companies, but it really started to get these stores' attention when these startup Silicon Valley companies started to use it as well. Uber is one of the big players who do this. How surge pricing works, they have it just straight up right here on their website. And right here you can read, prices will go up. In the cases of very high demand, prices may increase to help ensure that those who need a ride can get one. The system is also called surge pricing. So it's not like there's limited supply. It's just that people may want it, so we're going to increase the prices now. This isn't to make sure that people can get everything. This isn't about rationing. It's about gouging. That's what this is. Okay. They think you might want it now, so they're just going to increase the prices. Like, there are a lot of people who will need like an Uber. What if they're having like an emergency, or they need to get somewhere else? Just times when they think that you might want it is just when they're going to increase the price there. They've done this specifically around times when kids get out of school. So some people have difficulty picking up their kids from school, and the school bus may not be the best option. So often what they'll do is call an Uber for their kid and to take them home if they're not in walking distance. And so around that time, like 3:30, 4 o'clock or something, Uber increases their prices so they can charge you out the nose for using their service. They do the same thing around like 8 p.m. as far as I know as well. Call Uber during peak hours or ambulance. Right? Crazy. So that didn't go very well for Wendy's. But the problem is that just because one company fails with it does not mean another couple companies may succeed with it and then run with it, and that you might see it everywhere. But I want to take a look at this really quickly, because this is something that's actually being looked at in court, because this isn't just like something people are like companies are doing themselves. There are companies out there specifically making tools with AI to charge you as much as possible right now. So prices aren't just increasing because of supply issue problems. They're increasing because many companies are actually out there to use AI to increase prices when you might be getting off of work. And the FEC and the Department of Justice have actually had to crack down on some of this because it's getting bad and it's getting really close to price fixing. I want to take a look at this article because it's incredibly interesting, right? The FTC and DOJ, following numerous complaints from tenants associations, recently took a joint action to fight algorithmic collusion in the residential housing market. Landlords are increasingly using rent min-maxing software to keep prices higher than they might be in a normal market conditions for tens of millions of apartments around the country. So yes, surge pricing is even coming to apartments near you. Landlords are basically there are apps out there that take in a bunch of like market factors and then give you a suggestion about how much you should be charging. Lots of landlords together around the country, big landlord companies to small landlords themselves, the mom and pop landlords, are basically using this and all basically putting their prices around the same rate, so you don't get a good deal for an apartment. And then they just slowly keep ratcheting that up together. That's a big reason for why apartments are starting to get more expensive these days as well. Yeah, rent min-maxing. it's truly so dystopian, rent min-maxing. See, I was thinking about that too. It's sounding like cyberpunk. You're right. It's sounding a lot like cyberpunk. I'm living on the street because I can't afford because the algorithm told me that I can't afford to live in this apartment. Choom. As FTC briefing on the action noted, quote, the housing industry isn't alone in using potentially illegal collusive algorithms. The DOJ has previously secured a guilty plea related to the use of pricing algorithms to fix the prices in online resale of goods. As an ongoing case against the use of algorithmic collusion by meat processors. Meanwhile, there are several private cases being brought against hotels and casinos for online price fixing as well. Platform technology firms develop or perfected techniques like dynamic pricing, real-time auctions, data tracking, preferential advertising, and all the other tricks of surveillance capitalism that they would like to implement today. But the behavior we take for granted online somehow becomes more problematic when the methods are developed in the real world. People are outraged about the price of burgers or their rent surging, but don't think about it twice when it happens. But don't think about it twice when it happens, particularly when they are booking it on an app. So basically what they're saying is that they've been boiling us. Okay, we're the frog ribbit. We've been in that pot, and we're just only starting to realize that this pot's getting hot as dog. This pot's starting to get real steamy, dog. That this surge pricing has been something that they've been trying to spoon feed us for a while, and now they're taking it off the internet and into the real world, and things are starting to get bad. They're starting to get bad. AI is going to use your information to increase your rent everywhere, and things are going to start to get more insidious as well. Somebody who's working for one of these companies was asked by someone who was writing an article about this issue, talked about how companies need to start changing up their language to be able to landlord GPT, crazy, changing up their language to be able to get customers more okay with the fact that everything's going to be getting more expensive when they want it, and only when they want it, right? And so he started saying use things like happy hour to basically invert happy hour, right? So when things were the normal price, they call that happy hour. But when the algorithm says that when people want it, they increase the price, and that's no longer happy hour. So instead of things just getting cheaper, they just want to do the opposite and make things more expensive to lie to you into thinking that it's actually happy hour. It's all crappy hour. So true. Happy hour is when things get more expensive. Yeah. The happy hour, give me more of your money. Yeah, the multi-billion-dollar company is probably pretty happy about all that. Everybody else, maybe not so much, right? And if you were even thinking that Amazon might have been getting worse, you're right, they were. Because the FTC right now has a case against Amazon Because what they did is they were using algorithms to artificially keep the market of various products high, especially Amazon basic products. So those products, they were trying to keep the market as high as possible to charge you as much as possible when they were making products in that range, and then on their own retailer offer it to you so they can make as much money as possible off of you. Things are getting bad. Things are getting bad, okay? Things are getting bad, and the place that you might see it soon is in your food. Things are bad. Bad things are even happening in Britain, okay? This is how you know things have gotten really bad. On Happy Hour, UK pub chain adopts surge pricing for pints, all right? So this is how I knew things were starting to get real bad. When you start messing with British people's alcohol, things might start getting ugly, okay? A pint of beer may cost more during peak hours at some pubs owned by Britain's largest pub company, okay? It's getting bad. They're implementing dynamic pricing. The timing of surge pricings, in which case a pint of beer may cost 25 cents more, would vary by bar to bar, but generally prices would be higher on weekends and evenings, okay? And it's not staying over in Britain. It's leaking here in the US because surge pricing is coming for more menus near you. Chat, are you ready to suffer? Because you should be. It's happening. If you're hungry for a barbecue on Saturday nights this month, a delivery of a pulled pork sandwich at Cali Barbecue will cost you around $18. But if you hold off a few days and order the same sandwich delivered on a weekday or afternoon, it would cost $12. So right there, we saw 25 cents worth of surge pricing. Right now, we're looking at $4 of surge pricing as well. They talked to the owner, and they said that it's been fantastic for him to implement surge pricing for his customers. He said he was able to up his profits by $1,500 a month. He said that's very meaningful for a small business. I recommend every restaurant owner to do the same. Mobile apps have made it easier for companies to study customers' buying and browsing and quickly adapt. This is what we mean by $6. Sorry, yeah. I can't count. You're right, $6. So we mentioned 25 cents worth of surge pricing. Now it's up to $6. Could it be more? Probably, very soon. Johnny Silverhand was right. That guy was freaking cooking, dude. He was freaking cooking. But this is what we mean by surveillance capitalism. The more they're able to know more about us, the more they're going to use it to try to sell us stuff. Gone are the days of the biggest problem we have is talking about something, about maybe buying something, and then looking up on our phone and having it recommended to us on the little banner ads on different websites. Now we're going to start to see things getting more expensive whenever we talk about buying them. If you even think about buying something, it's going to get more expensive. That's how bad this is starting to get. That's how bad it's getting. Rising costs in recent years have led to more retailers implementing it. Drew Patterson, co-founder of restaurant dynamic pricing producer Juicer. This is one of the algorithms that a lot of retailers are using right now to engage in price gouging and price fixing right now. Said restaurants need to reference Happy Hour and other known promotions to explain variable pricing to customers. You need to make it clear that prices will go up and down. Patterson said dozens of restaurants and brands use Juicer's technology to change their prices based on demand trends, with the average swing being 15%. Patterson said 15% already. And that's the average. So that means swings could easily be like 50% more, 30% more, 20% more. It's crazy. We're going to have a dynamic pricing model. So we have the right price at the right time to match peak demand. Dave & Buster's CEO said. All right. So yeah, this isn't just restaurants. There's places like Dave & Buster's, Six Flags could have stuff like this coming soon if they don't already. Other amusement parks could have this. Everything that you like could have dynamic pricing soon. So whenever you actually have time to enjoy your life, they're going to make sure that they get as much money out of you as possible. How is Dave & Buster's still alive? Surge pricing, my friend, obviously. Grocers could do it. They're already doing it in grocery stores. when it comes to specific places. I mean, Walmart isn't necessarily doing that. They're taking the Disney Express Pass model where they're starting to charge you more. Here, let me see if I can pull up that article actually. Yeah, here we go. This one's from Ohio. Some Ohio stores could be impacted by Walmart self-checkout changes. Walmart might be making some changes to their self-checkout lanes, only select shoppers access to cashierless convenience. According to a report from Business Insider, self-checkout might only be usable by Walmart Plus subscribers or Spark delivery drivers. Walmart Plus costs $12.95 a month or $100 a year and offers free delivery services, gas discounts, and other perks, basically. So yeah, that's basically what they want to do, is that close off the self-checkout to only people who pay them every month. $12 actually, $100 a year. $100 a year, huh? They want to be Costco so bad. Yeah, they would just want to be garbage Costco. So that's what's going on right now. Surge pricing for Wendy's didn't work out, but surge pricing for many other industries have, and it's going to get worse. This is what happens when this is all the fault of no regulation and deregulation. I'm just going to tell you this right now. The fact that we haven't been implementing like the laws that we put in place, the fact that we haven't been enforcing the laws that we put in place after the Great Depression, okay, and after the explosion of these big businesses to stop them from doing things like price gouging and price fixing and enforcing our antitrust laws, it's only made our economy and our lives worse. And we're starting to get, and we've only seen the tip of it, dude. Things are getting more expensive, and they have no plans on making it less expensive because they can still get money out of us, right? As long as we still are alive, they can still suck money from us in some way. And this is only one of their next ways to do it. This is not going to be the end of this. And we need to do something to stand up against these companies now, because it's gotten so bad that the inflation that we're seeing right now, there have been research studies that are just now being put out on it. 50% of the inflation that we've been seeing over the last couple of years, 50% of the inflation in the products that you want and the products that you need is completely just due to companies increasing prices because they know you need it. They have made themselves necessary and then just become simply parasitic on the people who they call their patrons and their customers. That's just it. And it needed to stop. It needed to stop a long time ago. All right. It needed to stop a long time ago. And if that means the FTC and the DOJ come clapping down on these companies, it hasn't happened soon enough.
Oh, sorry. I didn't see you there. If you're enjoying the content, hit the subscribe button. If you don't, it'll make Boo very sad. I know a bunch of you who are watching are not subscribed. Join the frenzy. You won't regret it. Thank you, Boo.